So welcome, ladies, gentlemen, smart contractors of all ages. I guess you can roll the video. Agoric was founded in 2018 by pioneers in the space of smart contracts with literally decades of experience bringing disruptive technologies to market. And we were founded to enable developers worldwide to rapidly build, deploy, and start operating decentralized applications and businesses in blockchain crypto across the world. And to that end, we are deploying a new layer 1 proof of stake smart contracting platform using Cosmos SDK as the underpinnings, and building up from there to enable developers to implement in hardened JavaScript, the world's most popular programming language, new applications from NFTs to DeFis in a pluggable environment that I'll talk about a bit later. But I'm going to start by taking you on a tour through a user's journey of what this might be like. So they're coming in. They've got assets on other platforms. They want to be able to get some of the local stable currency, the grease that makes commerce work. So we have on the right a wallet, on the left an application, where the wallet has assets in several different currencies. One of those that I have is atoms. And so I've approved the use of this core treasury application with my wallet. I'm now going to go and get atoms, but I have them on a different chain. So one of the things that has been built, that we've built together with other people in the Cosmos ecosystem, is called IBC, Inter-Blockchain Communication Protocol. So here I'm using Kepler, the wallet in the Cosmos ecosystem, to be able to take assets from the Cosmos hub chain. Now, of course, this is a lot of assets, but it's only on a test chain, so it only does me so much good. But I'm going to take 500 atoms from that Cosmos hub chain and send them using this inter-blockchain communication protocol from one blockchain, the hub, to the Agoric blockchain. I'm going to send them, and transfer is just one of the many application protocols built on IBC, but it's an important one, especially for here. So I'm taking these atoms, I'm going to send them across, and you can see on the right-hand side I have 0 atoms in my account. And when this processes, it sends messages from one blockchain to another, giving me 500 atoms. So now I have some interesting collateral to use to take local currency out, to borrow a local stable currency in order to be able to transact in this environment. So I'm going to go ahead and put it into demo run. You can see on the right-hand side, I have 0 run in my account. Run is the name of the stable local currency in the Agoric crypto ecosystem, crypto economy. So I'm going to borrow 1,000 run. To do that, I need to lock up 43 atoms, which you can see here. I'm in the process of creating a vault. So this is a MakerDAO style vault, but deeply integrated into the overall Agoric ecosystem. So run is used to pay for gas, it's used to pay for network services, as well as being the grease of commerce. Now, if you're familiar with Ethereum, you know that the user's experience is to send money to address. From a normal user's point of view, that looks like a random number, and you send money to a random number and hope something good happens. Here we have a fundamental model called offers, which is what businesses use. There's quid pro quo. I will give the smart contract 43 atoms if and only if it gives me back 1,000 run. It also needs to give me control of the contract and so forth, but this offer will not work, it will fail, unless I actually get 1,000 run. And the contract itself does not get those 43 atoms. It's told about them, but they're escrowed in the underlying infrastructure. There are literally over $1 billion that have been lost in Ethereum and other blockchains because people sent money to the wrong place, to the wrong random number, right? This provides protection to clients and dramatically reduces the risk not only to users, but to smart contracts that are using other smart contracts as a service, right? So here, I'm going to go ahead and click accept, or my ghost is sometime in the future. And this offer mechanism is what's used to wire together the user's experience of these contracts. So now the 43 atoms will come out of my atom account, go into escrow in the infrastructure, be offered to the contract. It will construct a vault and deliver to me 1,000 run. So the 43 atoms came out. It'll deliver 1,000 run into my demo run account. And if there's any bug, if there's any failure, if there's any rug pull, right, there's just nothing the contract can do to take my atoms unless it gives me that 1,000 run, right? That's what we call offer safety. And now it's delivered the atoms into my account. Let's go spend it. This is a typical AMM, automated market maker. That's the other part of this treasury, and it's one of the native applications where I'm going to take some of that 1,000 run, and I'm going to buy some of the stable coin some of the staking token that underpins this proof of stake blockchain. So I've selected build the Agoric stablecoin, the Agoric staking token, and I'm going to buy 300 run worth of it. That turns out to be about 10.7 build that I'm going to buy, that I'm looking to buy. Okay, so I will go click swap, and that will again make an offer. I will swap 300 run, if you go over to the right-hand side, I will swap 300 run for at least, in this case, 10.4 build. Now 10.4 is a smaller number. That makes room for slippage, but it makes sure that if there's a real bug, unless it can get me at least that much, it does not get my run, okay? And so when I make that offer, it uses all the same infrastructure and all the same components that are available to smart contract developers to build their own applications. And so now, this little person will go and click. Now this swap application is native, it is extensible with new kinds of curves, and it's part of the overall ecosystem where, for example, the MakerDAO or equivalent, the vault, will be able to liquidate against this automated market maker, arbitrage opportunities abound between our chain over IBC to other chains and so forth. I've now made that offer. It pulled out the run from the demo run purse. You can now see it's down at 700, and it's purchased and received 10 build, 10.7 in this case, the expected amount, into our Agoric staking token. Okay, so that's a great economic activity. We'll have liquidity incentives for this sort of thing and for trading, but the real ability is to be able to use these same components for third-party developers to rapidly produce their own applications. So we'll go over to an application built using the same framework, the same components, to do NFTs. Now, it's just as easy to make a non-fungible token, an NFT, as it is to make fungible tokens. Here I've got a simple base bar card application that was written in literally a day, including all the smart contracts. I'll show you those later. And here I'm going, but it's using the same libraries that I would use to build fancier applications, that I could use to build a loan application. I could grab the governance component and add governance to my application without having to copy code. I just get to plug those DeFi Legos together in order to have that behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Ansem Sweeney and Ray McStriff. Now, there's a story that you should look up on our site at some point about where all these names and cards came from a game a long time ago. But I've made these offers. It's the same offer infrastructure that works identically for non-fungible tokens as it does for fungible tokens, as do all of the simple JavaScript components for futures or covered calls or trading or what have you. And here I've got an offer that says I will buy for one run. These are expensive baseball cards, right? That's a whole lot more expensive than a pack of gum, right? I will buy for one run a particular baseball card. And I selected two, so I've got two offers in this case. Because someone else might buy one of them out from under me. That's OK. I still want to buy the second one. So I've now said, yep, I want this offer. Go ahead and buy it. And that will authorize the payment from my run account. You can see it's decremented from 700 to 699. And that then goes off to the smart contract that's offering these NFTs for sale. It says, oh, OK. It's now pulled it from the storefront over on the left-hand side, and it'll be delivering it into my wallet. You can see that one card arrived there. OK. Now, this application, this NFT application, the core smart contract of it, is something like 35 lines of JavaScript code that I could explain to a beginning programmer after 3 months of training. Right? It's not that there are 10,000 people in the world ever that can understand this stuff. There are literally 10 million developers that program in JavaScript worldwide, 10 million plus. Right? And so now you can see I've got a purse that has two cards in it, and it just showed you the names of the two cards that I got. Those are distinct NFTs. And that's really what we mean by composable DeFi, right? It's not that I'm copying code, it's not that I'm slapping it together, it's that I get a library of components that other people build that I can build on using, for example, the world's most popular development environment to go along with the most popular language with, type completion, IntelliSense, unit testing automated running on the right-hand side. If I put in an edit, it does static analysis to show me errors immediately. This is the standard that the world's developers outside of blockchain expect for rapid development, right? And so this is now available, and they've got 1.3 million components in JavaScript that they can also build from and include to solve different parts of their application. So we recently completed our incentivized testnet. a private fundraise, and in the next couple weeks we'll be starting a staged release to Mainnet, leading to this blockchain with Treasury and the stablecoin launching out into the Cosmos ecosystem later on in Q4. So please join us at Agoric, join us in Discord, and help all of us build the next round of decentralized applications. Thank you very much.
Up next, we will have Kevin from Moonbeam.
Thank you so much. If you saw my photo, it's different, but I am the Kevin Nielsen from Moonbeam. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon. So my name is Kevin Nielsen. I'm a developer relations engineer at Moonbeam. Moonbeam is an Ethereum-compatible parachain on Polkadot. And Moonriver is the name of our Kusama deployment, which is meant to be more of an experimental network. Moonriver is currently live. It completed its launch process on August 26th. So just a little bit of background. As you may know, Polkadot can best be thought of as a layer 0 for blockchains. So its main goal is to provide robust and scalable architecture and infrastructure for numerous blockchains to be run on top of Polkadot. And Polkadot itself is not concerned with the particular applications or with providing a smart contract layer. And that's where Moonbeam comes in, is as a parachain on top of Polkadot. And so next, let's jump into the demo. So what I'll show you next is OpenZeppelin Wizard, which OpenZeppelin Wizard, you probably know, is a framework for launching ERC20 tokens. ERC 721s, ERC 1155s. And what we're going to do here is we'll choose our features. We'll choose, I think, we'll name it Mainnet 2021. And we're going to deploy this to the Moonbase Alpha testnet. So getting started, we'll choose mintable, we'll choose burnable, we'll choose pausable. And you can see your code is automatically generated. And we'll go and open this up in Remix. And the next thing that I'll do is I'll go to the Contracts tab and make sure that the contract compiles, which it should. After confirming that it compiles, I'll go and I'll be ready to deploy it. So we just have to make sure that we're deploying the right contract. And first, we're just going to switch to injected Web3 so that we're in our MetaMask, connecting our account, making sure that's all set. So we'll go down to Mainnet 2021, and we will deploy this contract. And this is being deployed to Moonbase Alpha, which is our testnet. But the process is exactly the same for Moonbeam and Moonriver. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that Moonbeam and Moonriver are sister networks. So this demo process is exactly the same for both those networks. So what I'm doing here is I'm pasting in a secondary address from MetaMask, and I'm going to mint a few tokens, say 9,999. We'll press mint, and we'll confirm the transaction. Again, this is on a testnet. And once it confirms, what I want to do is go and make sure that exact amount has been minted. So what I'll do is I'll go and copy and paste that same address into the balance read-only method. And once we click on that, we'll see that it is 9,999. So the point of this demonstration is to show you that out of the box, Moonbeam is compatible with so many Ethereum integrations. And part of the reason that this is possible, I'll get to in a second, but we want to make it easy for Ethereum developers to deploy to Moonbeam. And Moonbeam will be an ecosystem in and of itself, but it'll also be connected to the rapidly growing Polkadot ecosystem. The Moonbeam environment is familiar for anybody who's spent time in Ethereum. And we think that once you find your way into the Moonbeam environment, you'll find it quite familiar. Everything is compatible, from MetaMask to OpenZeppelin to Ledger and Trezor hardware wallets. All of it works perfectly. And part of the reason that it works so well is because the Moonbeam team has chosen to use unified account structure. And allow me to explain a little bit more what that means. So Polkadot uses substrate addresses, which are a completely different address type from Ethereum. Because they're a completely different address type, they require different private keys. And so you can imagine that if you're trying to launch an EVM onto a Polkadot parachain, you also need to interact with the Polkadot native functions. So you want to be able to interact with governance and staking. Those are Polkadot native features, and so you need a Polkadot address, a substrate address for that. But you also need to interact with your Ethereum smart contracts. So now you need an Ethereum address. And it's kind of cumbersome and complicated to manage both of these private keys and addresses. So instead of that, Moonbeam uses a single private key for one Ethereum address that allows you to control everything. That includes your governance, that includes your staking, that includes sending balance transfers, and much more. So what we have here is an Ethereum precompile. So another thing that differentiates Moonbeam is our focus on precompiles. So if you're a developer and you want to build on top of Polkadot native features, such as governance or staking, you probably have to learn Rust, or you'll have to do a deep dive into the Substrate API. And the Substrate API is extremely powerful and robust, and it's certainly a great option. But we want to give developers the option of building with what they're most comfortable with, and that might be working with Solidity and Ethereum. So we have these precompiles that allow you to connect directly to the palettes in Polkadot. And so this here is the staking palette, and you can interact with it directly in Remix, but more likely you'll probably be interacting with it through a front end, such as on a dApp, which I will demonstrate in just a second. So our talented engineers released this staking precompile this summer, and the Democracy one is coming out very soon. So this is the apps.moonbeam.network. It's built by the Moonbeam Foundation, and you have here different types of balances. So you have a free balance. You can stake any part of the free balance. Just remember to save a little bit for gas. You also have a balance reserved in staking, and you have a balance that's locked in Democracy. So what we'll do next is go to Manage Nominations. In Moonriver, you have to choose a specific collator that you want to nominate with, and there is a minimum amount of 5 Moonriver. So here on this page, you can find more information about the collators you'd like to nominate with. And first, let's just differentiate between active pool and waiting. So active pool are collators who are currently producing blocks, and they are earning staking rewards. In the waiting pool are collators that don't quite have enough stake to be in the active pool, but that could change in the future. So if you'd like to earn staking rewards right away, you do want to be nominating a collator that's in the active pool. So just a little bit more information about this page. You can see each collator address, and you can see the amount that the collator has put up themselves, the self-bonded amount. You can see the total amount bonded, which includes all nominations. And you can also see the number of nominations and then the blocks they produced last round. So when you're nominating a collator, you do want to make sure that they are actively producing blocks so that you can earn staking rewards. And if we scroll down, we'll see here that every collator here is producing blocks, so this looks all good, all set. What we want to do next is we want to research a specific collator. And lastly, we're going to go to Moonriver Subscan. And the reason for this is because the top 100 nominators for a given collator earn staking rewards. So what I'm doing here is I'm just scrolling to the end, and I want to see, I'm finding the particular collator, and then I'm scrolling to the end of all the nominators, and I want to see what's the 100th nomination amount. And as I get to the last page, I see that the 100th nomination amount is 5.05 Moonriver. So if I want to guarantee that I'll earn rewards right away, I have to nominate slightly above that. So going back to the Moonbeam apps, I'm going to go ahead and nominate 5.051 Moonriver, so just slightly above that. And yeah, we'll go ahead and confirm the nomination. And once the transaction is confirmed, you'll see the nomination amount below. You can nominate to multiple collators if you'd like, but each one must be a minimum of 5 Moonriver. You can also revoke the nomination, or you can edit it. You can increase or decrease it. You just can't drop below 5 Moonriver. So lastly, I thought I would just end with some statistics. So Moonriver Network completed its launch process on August 26th. That included a full EVM launch and full balance transfers, so full network launch. And since then, we've seen over 1.3 million transactions. We've surpassed 100,000 active wallets. And while we were expecting large numbers, we were not expecting we're surprised by how quickly we reach these numbers. So perhaps the most impressive statistic is one that has kept our DevOps team up at night. They've been paged and woken up in the middle of the night, and that is that our RPC nodes have seen over 2,500 requests per second. Now, we're not the only one who run RPC nodes. We have a number of partners who do as well, but this statistic is just referring to the Moonbeam Foundation's nodes. So here's a subset of teams that are building on top of Moonbeam, and so we wanted to give them a shout out. But today we've just demoed a small subset of the tools and the integrations that you have available to you on Moonbeam. We think you'll find that once you're in Moonbeam, you'll find that the environment is quite familiar and welcoming, and we can't wait to see what you build. Thank you so much.
Up next is Jordan from Vesper Finance.
Hi, I'm Jordan Kruger, co-founder of Vesper Finance. Great event, and I really thank the Messari team for just organizing another spectacular event. Vesper is a DeFi super app, and we have a suite of DeFi platforms and tools that really are geared to be super simple, super safe for users. And we launched in February of this year, and we launched our first set of products, which are grow pools. And this is a very simple experience where users can come and deposit their crypto, and they will earn interest in that crypto. So it is very passive. You can deposit and then come back, and you will have earned interest in that crypto. This was the first set of products that we launched. We have now a number of the top cryptos available that have pools, and we continue to launch more of these grow pools all the time, and this is something that is really determined by our community. If the community says, hey, I would love to see this pool, then we will put up a vote, and it will most likely be added as a new grow pool. And this is where I'm going to focus a lot of the attention today in the demo. And also, we are going to give you a sneak peek at our new user experience, the new UI that our design team has put together. We also are going to give you a sneak peek at our next Vesper product that we have, which is Vesper Earn. And this is a really cool new DeFi primitive that I will get into later in the demo. But really what I value so much with Vesper is the DeFi, the community aspect, and I think that this is something that we really have just this amazing community. And where this really comes out is even with the design process. Our design team really worked with the community, did a lot of rounds of feedback, A/B testing, and this is very apparent in the new design where we have an even better user experience where it's really simple. And also new pages that were not on our website currently. And so this is something that I really feel is so important in DeFi, is just being transparent, bringing in the masses and really using this to the advantage of all of the users to make sure that you are building the best product possible. And so I'm going to go ahead and get into the demo now. Like I said, we're going to show you what you have to look forward to with our new UI. So to kick things off, we are going to get into the app. And when you enter the app, the first thing that you will notice is that you are going to be asked to obviously connect your wallet, but this is going to give you just a caption of like what is your portfolio performance and your portfolio balance. And so after you connect to MetaMask, in this case, you can see exactly what's going on with all the pools that you have deposited in on this page. So you'll see your portfolio balance, and you'll also see all of the pools that you've deposited in on the right side. And so from here, after you just have done a quick look, seen where you stand and how your portfolio's accumulated interest, then we can go and look at all of the pools. And so this is going to, right now, show you a set of the grow pools. Like I said, this is just showing you just a brief snapshot of some of the grow pools we have available. But you can see everything available here, and you can choose which one is going to be best for your purposes by looking at the crypto, as well as I want to draw your attention to the conservative and aggressive tags. This is something that we have done to ensure that users are getting the most transparency, as well as also another safety rail. And this is really looking at the technical risk. And so when we are looking and the protocols that are being used, they are going to be categorized by how well seasoned they are, how many audits they've had. And so if it's a protocol that has been in production for a while, it will go in the conservative category. If it's something that has not been in production for as long, has not received as many audits, it will most likely go in the aggressive category. So you can see here we have our pools, and you can just see everything that's available to you. And then we are going to scroll down and see everything. And then I want to highlight this. This is something that's new. And this came after a lot of feedback that users were having to go and calculate a lot of the stats. And so we put together this new stats page that shows you everything from the token to also the revenue statistics. And so really excited that we now have all of this available on our website. And so now we're going to go back to our pools, and we are going to demo how to deposit in one of the pools. So here we're going to deposit in the DAI pool. And so with the DAI pool, we are going to check everything out, see how it's forming, and then we are going to go ahead and deposit 5,000 DAI. When you're depositing into our pools, this is going to be a 2-transaction process, and we are going to have both transactions available on one pop-up. So it's going to be your standard approval and then deposit transactions. And so after you have deposited, it will show up there. And I want to mention that you can withdraw at any time. So you can withdraw, there is going to be a fee, but there's no lock-in period after you've deposited. So now after we've deposited, as I mentioned, we are also in the very near future going to be releasing the Vesper Earn to beta. Really excited about this because it is something that is very new to DeFi, because unlike the deposit crypto, earn interest in that crypto, you're going to deposit crypto and earn interest in something else. And so this starts to unlock so many new doors for what's possible in DeFi. We like to think of it as programmable yield. So right now, the first set of pools will be deposit crypto and earn in that earn another crypto. But you can start to think about everything else you can do. You can deposit crypto, earn interest, and that interest can be channeled to something completely different. So you can start to have the interest go to funding a charity, funding a startup, all new possibilities. And this is where I get really excited with DeFi, because these are things that are new and exciting and not possible in traditional finance that we can do with just programming and smart contracts. And so super excited about this. And like I said, we will be releasing this to our beta in the very near future. And this is really something that we have put a lot of time into with our design, and I mentioned this a lot with just the great community feedback. And I have talked also about just the transparency aspect of everything that we do, and just the community in general. And so I really welcome you to come check out Vesper Finance, join our great team of Vespernauts, and thank you very much for having me today.
Up next is Doug from Kadena.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Doug Beardsley, Director of Engineering at Kadena. And today I want to talk about how you can build smart contracts in our language pact so that you don't get wrecked. Smart contract bugs are causing more and more losses in recent weeks and months. This website that you see here is rec.news. It tracks notable hacks that have resulted in loss of money and analyzes the details of those attacks. Since the beginning of August, according to rec.news, at least 8 projects have been hacked, totaling $691 million worth of money stolen. 2 of these were caused by human error, such as publishing private keys on GitHub that don't have a possible technological remedy, but 6 of them were code problems that we can actually do something about. This state of affairs is unacceptable, and it's impeding mainstream crypto adoption. First, existing systems are built on error-prone foundations. Then, new systems are created by copying and pasting code from old systems, which perpetuates well-known vulnerabilities. Mainstream consumers won't accept this kind of risk, and regulators won't allow it either. But the bugs keep coming because there are too many details for developers to get right. You just can't hope to get them all. We must attack this problem with technology. Kadena has solutions to these problems. We've built a scalable proof-of-work blockchain from the bottom up with safety and security in mind. When we looked at the details of these rec.news hacks, we found that 75% of them would have been prevented by Kadena's smart contract language pact. The other 25% didn't have technological remedies, as I mentioned, but no system will be perfect. So I would like to take a look at a bug that Kadena encountered and how we are able to protect against it in the future. In 2021, Kadena offered a real money bounty on Mainnet for vulnerabilities in our automated market maker and other associated smart contracts. On July 13, a community member identified and exploited a missing access control vulnerability. Just 2 weeks later, on July 27, we committed an update that not only fixed that bug, but also introduced formal verification infrastructure that can detect and warn about every future instance of this class of vulnerability. And I'd like to just take a look at the details of that. So we need to start by looking at the nature of the attack. I've searched for the offending transactions here in our block explorer, and we can see that the exploit called the update supply function to decrease the supply that the contract thought was in the pool. This meant that the attacker had 100% of the pooled tokens and could then withdraw it all to their own wallet. Since this was a bounty, these were test tokens, but they were backed by real KDA that Kadena had put in to fund this bounty. This happened because the update supply function should have been protected and not possible for an external user to run, but it wasn't. Let's look at the code now. Here's a commit where we fixed the exploit. You can see that the added code to the update supply function at the bottom requires the presence of a capability in order to run, and then grants that capability in places where the function is called. This is the fix, but I want to look in more detail at the infrastructure that we put in place to prevent this problem in the future. Pact, our smart contract language, has a database abstraction that we use to save data between transactions. The big realization we had was that every balance impacting operation must write something to the database. Pact also has a formal verification system that allows users to prove things about their code. The fact that Pact is not Turing complete greatly increases what this formal verification system can do, as we're about to see. We can prevent this kind of problem in the future by using the formal verification system to prove that every database write is protected by an appropriate access control guard. Let's look at how this is done. We're going to paste, in a moment, two extra property blocks. There they are, at the top of the smart contract. And these will prove the by formal verification that database rights are guarded. The first one says that for all tokens, whenever a token row is written to the supplies table, an access control check called a guard must protect the transaction. The highlighted lines right there. The second property says that for all keys, whenever a key is written to the ledger table, it must be one of two different access control checks. This is the second block on lines 20 through 33. Now, you will inevitably need to write some functions that don't satisfy this requirement. And that is where the except section comes in. It allows you to specifically define exceptions to this property. One of those exceptions is the update supply function. We can now see that the formal verification has analyzed the code and detected that the update supply function writes to the issuers table, but isn't protected. We can see this up on line 11, where there's a red error marking. We can suppress this error by adding update supply to the accept list, which when we click here, as you can see on screen, it'll show us exactly what function is not satisfying this property. And then you can see there, update supply, and we can add it to the accept list. And then the formal verification system will run again as soon as we type it in here. And it will verify that all of the properties are being satisfied. You can see down in the bottom corner, there's a blinking yellow dot that indicates that formal verification is running, and there it finished, and we've satisfied it. There, you may note that we didn't make any code changes to fix the problem here. That is something you have to do separately. And of course, it's still possible to mess that up. But the list of exceptions that you see here serves as a fantastic checklist of functions that engineers and code authors should scrutinize closely in their reviews. Once they are familiar with Pact, all future auditors will know to make sure that contracts have these kinds of properties that are being checked with formal verification. It will be impossible to be perfect, but this is about as close as you can get to exactly the right amount of security while still allowing people to do interesting things that you haven't thought of. I hope this little formal verification demo has been informative and inspires people to demand more from blockchain security. As a final parting thought, since I woke up this morning, I've heard about 2 more attacks totaling $47 million that were not included in the above numbers. If you want to hear more, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Kadena _Eng, or Kadena's other mediums. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Up next is Travis from Orchid.
All right. My name is Travis Cannell. I'm with Orchid Labs. We have a VPN that is using blockchain technology to connect to the internet. So here's Orchid. I'm going to just show you, just pretend that you don't know what crypto is, you don't care what crypto is, Bitcoin is something your crazy cousin does. Here's Orchid. You download it. It's on iOS, it's on macOS, it's on Android. And the user is presented here with an empty account when you start. You probably saw an ad that said start for 99 cents. Orchid is a prepaid VPN service. We do not charge a subscription. So the user just sort of picks, oh, look, 99 cents to start. Why would I pay NordVPN $100 for a 3-year subscription when I could just try this Orchid thing out for 99 cents? So here it is. You get about 12 gigabytes, give or take, for 99 cents. You can buy more. Orchid doesn't make any money if you buy more. We actually are just going to take your fiat that you give us, and we are going to buy some XDAI with it, and then we're going to put it into our XDAI smart contract and allow you to make payments to our decentralized provider network for VPN service. So this is all working. This is all functioning right now. We're growing it. We have a marketing message that's resonating with users, that people that want to just try something out. And this is a real consumer application that is running on blockchain technology. The decentralized provider network that we have is uses our cryptocurrency OXT. Our providers stake crypto. They stake OXT. And the more they stake, the more payments come to them, the more user connections come to them. So you basically use OXT to advertise for your VPN service. And that was about 2 minutes to get started on Orchid, to buy cryptocurrency and start using it. So I've got another 8 minutes, I think, to talk, so I can get into some of the details here. But if you are connected to the Mainnet Wi-Fi network, the people that are running that infrastructure and other people that may have access to that infrastructure can get information about what you're doing on your computer and your devices. When you encrypt your data and send it through a VPN server, the internet service provider cannot see what you're doing. They just see an encrypted tunnel and that you're connected to a VPN server. So here I'm showing that your IP address changes when you use Orchid. So that's the big thing that a VPN does. So here, Orchid has a network of providers. So when you disconnect and reconnect, you actually get a different provider each time. So here, or not each time, but you hit the stake-weighted random selection. And so the providers that stake more OXT are more likely you're more likely to connect to them. So as more users try to pump more money into this decentralized system, providers are incentivized to increase their stake so that they get more users to their VPN service. So there is a different IP address that is, again, part of our decentralized network of VPN providers. And so Orchid is not just sort of one VPN provider that you're getting. It's this decentralized sort of network. Now, as you can see across the bottom, we estimate how many gigabytes you have left in your account. In the middle there, we have 6 cents a gigabyte, which is a network average across that's aggregated using a chain link oracle across all of our providers. So 6 cents is the average. That's a market price. It could go up. It could go down. We think that it probably will go down. VPN bandwidth is a commodity. You can typically get it for under a penny a gigabyte if you're getting it in bulk. So also, Orchid is running in a one-hop mode. I'll come back to that in a second, but that just means that your traffic is going through a single VPN server. So cool thing about Orchid here is that after you've funded your account with 99 cents, you create your own set of keys on Orchid. You have an Orchid account that has an identity that's kind of like your address. And in the gear icon in the upper right, you can actually export and import your Orchid keys. So you can share to, if you have a 99-cent account, you can share to an unlimited number of other people or devices. So a lot of VPN services give you unlimited bandwidth, but they say, you can only use 5 devices. Orchid, you pay for bandwidth. It's a prepaid bandwidth VPN system, but you can share it to an unlimited number of devices. You can also house your account. XDAI is great because the gas fees are so low. Your Orchid account can be small, and we can give you a 99-cent account. If you set up your account with OXT on Ethereum, like I have here, this account has 250 OXT in it. You need a lot larger account because the way that the Orchid nano payment system works, you need to have a larger deposit to when the network fees are larger because you're using the law of large numbers to amortize the costs over a longer period of time. But the TLDR there is that you can use both OXT on Ethereum or XDAI, and we're working on other EVM chains to be compatible with those. Here's another cool feature of Orchid. You don't even need to buy an account to use this feature of Orchid, but I don't know if anyone's followed the news about the NGO group, or they know what the Pegasus system is. That was software that was developed by intelligence agencies to hack into iPhones. It was a link that you would click on that it would then infect your device, and then it would start sending data, to the collection agency. And it turns out the NGO group had been selling this software to dictators and different people who said that they were using it for terrorism, but turns out that they were actually just spying on journalists and different people that they didn't like. Orchid has a built-in traffic analyzer, which is really just Wireshark running locally on the iOS device, which is really cool. But what that does is it tracks all the connections that your device is making. So, what is your iPhone doing at night? Who's it connecting to? Who's it talking to? Orchid gives you a way you could run this, and you could see every connection that your phone's making. You can see the port. You get a timestamp. And so you can sort of log a history of all the network traffic that's happening on your device. So we have that as a feature. It's, for the average use case, you might not want to look at that, but that's something that we're working on. And eventually, we could have ways that you could filter your traffic, maybe block ads, and do other things like that. Lastly, I'll show Orchid here. This is kind of the advanced feature I was hinting at before, but normally when you send your traffic to a single VPN server, that VPN server is going to know your home IP address, and then they're going to know what website you're connecting to. Well, Orchid supports multiple hops, which is a way to basically send your traffic through enough servers so that no single server knows who you are and what you're looking at. In this demo here, I'm just setting up a 2-hop route that is sending my traffic over a random Orchid server and then through a WireGuard server here down below. So Orchid speaks Orchid protocol, it speaks WireGuard, it speaks OpenVPN. So there's WireGuard is the kind of new hot VPN protocol. OpenVPN is kind of the gold standard, and Orchid, we're the new kid on the block. But we are compatible with those other VPN services so that even if you had a subscription to a different VPN service, you could use that. You could use a couple of Orchid hops and then maybe your own VPN provider as an exit. It just makes things more flexible for you. And so, the Tor project is something that we love at Orchid. Tor uses 3 hops and is a browser. It is not a VPN. But we're hoping that eventually we will have something with 3 hops that can give you better privacy guarantees. But right now we're starting with a very simple way of getting users that don't understand crypto into the app at a competitive price point, doing something interesting. So go on iOS, go on Android, search for Orchid VPN, do it. Don't trust the Wi-Fi networks you connect to. Put a VPN on it. So try Orchid for 99 cents. Thank you.